How many's in there? We got a couple little ones. We got some egg ones. But the last one didn't have any blue crabs with eggs. So we timed it pretty good.
Oh, it smells so good.
Yeah. Plus we got to pick all these claws.
Claws, those
Pick all the
claws.
claws. So that'll be a lot of meat. And we ended up with 2 pounds of the body meat and a half a pound of the claw meat. And the claw meat's going to be used for a soup or whatever Joy's going to make. She's going to boil down the shells with this claw meat, make some kind of soup. So what kind of crab soup are you going to be making today, Joyce?
We're going to make Mock She Crab Bisque. And for that bisque, you're going to need the following ingredients. You're going to need 1 cup of celery, 2 cups of onions chopped, same way the celery is also chopped. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1/4 cup of butter, 3 cups of the crab stock, 4 cups of milk, 1 cup of heavy cream, 1 tablespoon each of soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce, which is here. You're going to need 1 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of fine chopped garlic, 1/4 cup of red pepper chopped, and you want to reserve about 2 tablespoons of the red pepper, and that's going to be chopped very fine to use as a garnish when you serve the soup. You're going to need 2½ teaspoons of salt, 1/8 teaspoon of pepper, 1 can 14-ounce diced tomatoes, 1/2 cup of sherry, and 1/2 cup of flour, and 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red peppers, 4 cups of potatoes cut in chunks. Oh, forgot one item. The most important item of the recipe is you need 1/2 pound of crab meat, a little over a cup.
Yeah, this is all the claw meat. We
That's
just
the
picked
claw
the claw
meat,
meat,
yeah.
and that's what we're using.
Yeah, so that's a good cup, a little over a cup.
Yeah, I think it weighed about 1/2 pound.
Yeah, it was a little over half. So that's all you're going to need, and we'll get over to the stove and show you how to start. First, you have to make your crab stock, which you're going to need 8 cups of water, and you're going to need a teaspoon of salt in there, and a little sprinkle of the white pepper. Then you're going to have your shells, however many shells you have. As long as the shells is what's going to bring out the flavor for the soup. So we had all those crabs. We had 30 crabs we picked. So, or Sam picked. I didn't pick them. I'm not allowed to pick them. So you're just going. There's actually 8 cups of.
But you don't need that many. Whatever you got left over.
Whatever
right?
you got left over.
Yeah.
Even if you got the shells themselves, you can use those also. But we're just. You're going to need 2 stalks of celery. So you just want to cut them in chunks. Nothing fancy with how you cut them. You just put them in there. 1 onion. Same thing, just cut it up. Because what happens with all this stuff, it gets strained and all this gets thrown out. Two nice cloves of garlic. Just do the same thing with that, just cut it up. Just stuff them down in there. It's getting ready to boil. I'm going to add another cup of water in there just to cover them. But I only did this because we got a lot of shells in there. And this smells real good when this is cooking. Some people might not think so, but we do. Okay. Okay, it's really starting to get a rolling boil in there now. You can see how it's foaming in there. What happens with that, sometimes if you seal the lid too tight, it's like anything like it, it'll boil over. So just crack your lid until it gets settled down, and you turn the burner down to low and let it simmer in there for an hour. Well, it's been an hour. The stock is done. So we're going to take it off the burner, and you're just going to leave it sit for at least an hour. If you can let it sit longer than that, it's okay, but it would be all right with an hour. It'll cool down, and you're going to put it through the strainer, and then that way it'll give it a little bit cooler so you can put it in one of these containers so it's not real hot. Well, the stock's been sitting for at least an hour, hour and a half. It's cooled down enough. Let's see if I can dump it without getting the shells all over.
That looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks real good.
You chew them shells up.
That's it. This will cool down. And I'll dump it in here. I'll strain it again just to make sure. This will be put in the refrigerator, and we'll make the soup. To make this she crab bisque, it's made in a few steps. The first step is you're going to heat your pot to a medium heat. You're usually around 6, at least on myself. So while you're waiting for that to get hot, chop up the peppers that I told you to reserve into little fine pieces. Put them back in here. And you just set them aside till when the soup's done. Now, this should be ready. You're going to put your butter in there. And what you're going to do, you take it off the heat, and you want that butter to foam like that. Just keep it off the heat. Turn it down a little bit. You're going to add your garlic. And your 1/4 teaspoon of the red pepper, crushed red pepper. You're going to let this cook down for about a minute. Now that's starting to do that. Now you're going to add your olive oil. Oops, two. I'm going to remove this from the heat. Your garlic's going to brown a little bit. Now you're going to add your 1/2 cup of your sherry. You're going to let that cook down for about 2 minutes. You're just gonna let this cook down. What you're doing is cooking off some of the, I guess, the alcohol out of the sherry. Smells good. And if any of you is out there wondering that I'm using a metal spoon in your non-stick pans, the type of pans I use, most of them are you're able to use a metal spoon in them. While that's cooking down, I just get the rest of the ingredients that's got to go in here. That's a tablespoon of the soy sauce and a tablespoon of your Worcestershire sauce. Okay, your time's up for cooking off the sherry. What you're going to do now is you're going to add the 2 cups of onions, the celery, potatoes, can of diced tomatoes, peppers, Worcestershire and soy sauce, your sugar and your salt. Then you're going to add stock.
That's good stuff, huh?
And that's the good stuff. And then you're going to add a cup of water. Stir that up. Turn your burner up to high, get it to a boil, put the lid on, and let this boil for 20 minutes or until the potatoes actually are soft. Well, the 20 minutes is up. What I like to do is check the potatoes to see if they're, and the celery, see if they're soft. No, they're going to have to go another 10 minutes. So, and then they should be done. We'll get back with you when the 10 minutes is up. Okay, 10 minutes is up. I'll check them again. Perfect. Yeah, they smash. Okay, what you're going to do now is you're going to take out about 2 cups, roughly, of the vegetables. Let them drain off. And you're going to take your half a cup of flour and sprinkle that in there. And you'll mix it in with the vegetables. You want to coat them. Now you're going to add them to the soup. A little bit at a time. You'll stir it in. That's just so the flour dissolves. Turn your burner back on. And you want to get this back up to a boil so it thickens. Keep stirring so it comes to a boil. Boiling really nice, and you can see it's gotten thick. Okay, I'm going to shut off the burner, remove your pot, and you're going to add your milk. cups of milk. You want to add that in slow. And if you're allergic to milk or whatever, you can just eat it like that. Just thin it down a little more with a little water. You can eat it just like that soup base. Now you're going to add your half a cup. We'll use a half a cup at a time.
What's that, heavy cream?
That's the heavy cream. Slowly add that in. You'll add the other half a cup. You can also use half and half with this. Makes it a little less rich. Okay, you bring your pot to the sink. Put something in the bottom of the sink in case it's too hot and it might damage the sink. So I usually put that wood cutting board in there. So your next step is you gotta puree the soup. So give it a little bit at a time because it's hot. Use probably about a cup at a time. Throw that in there. And I like to put a tray down because it makes a mess. Make it go away and put another cup in there, 2 cups. Turn it on. Start off. You can also, if you have time, you can let it cool down. You don't have to do it like this with hot. And have a bowl ready and just dump it into the bowl. About 30 seconds to a minute to puree it.
It grinds the heck out of them potatoes and all that.
Mm-hmm. Do it like that.
So we're calling this Mock Crab Bisque because they don't have any crab's eggs in it, right?
Right. No crab
Looks
eggs.
like it though. It's sort of
Right.
pink.
It's that's what the red pepper, I believe, does. Make sure the bottom of my pan, I check that's no stuff on it. They're gonna bring that back. Turn this on low. And that's the bisque.
Yeah, it's just liquid in it.
Mm-hmm. All the little
Very-
particles or sometimes little pieces of the potato skins.
There's no crab in it.
Not yet. No crab.
Yeah, I guess really there's crab in it. From the crab shells.
Yeah, there's some in there.
I bet it's still good even without the crab.
Oh, you want to taste?
No.
I want to taste it. I'm going to make sure it's got enough salt. A little bit more. Yeah, it doesn't need anything. You eat it just like this.
I guess that's a little extra of the crab.
Yeah,
Right, so-
the crab meat. So you got something that's floating in there. Now, while you got your burner on, like it's on around 3. So you got to keep an eye on it because it'll really burn, and you don't want it to come back to a boil. So you see your edges here, it's got a little bit of bubbling. So it's getting ready. It's getting to the temperature where you would want to eat it, and you don't want it to come to the boil. So you just got to keep a real close eye on this. So then you start adding your crab meat. I like to break it up with my
They
hands.
call it crab claw bisque, right?
Crab claw bisque.
See, that's
yeah.
another name.
Yeah.
You make another video, make crab
Yeah.
claw bisque.
Just slowly just spoon that in there like that. That's all in there. Okay, the soup is ready. The crab meat has gotten hot, so it's about ready to put in the bowls and eat.
That's it, that's what I like.
That's it.
Put in the bowls and eat.
Yep. Make sure you just don't want that to come to a boil. That's real important. Okay, the soup's done, ready to put in the bowls, ready to eat. Well, that crab meat, that looks good.
Yeah, the crab meat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those crab cakes were good you made. That was with the back fin meat.
Yeah. And you'll sprinkle these peppers that I told you to sprinkle. I just sprinkle them on top.
Give it some color.
Those would be the crab eggs.
They mock crab eggs.
Yeah. A little bit of parsley.
That's the seaweed. Huh?
That's the
Never
seaweed,
mind.
yes. And we're done.
Well, Joyce, this Mock She Crab Bisque really looks good. And you tasted it and you said it is good.
Yep, it's good.
And we got Joyce's homemade rolls to go with it. And
No tartar sauce.
only tartar
No
sauce.
tartar
No
sauce.
tartar sauce on
No.
that. And you're going to freeze this, right, Joyce?
Right, we'll
The
freeze
extra-
this. This freezes real well. In fact, if you want it for the next day, it'll last for at least 2 days in the refrigerator. But it freezes well also.
Well, if you enjoy our videos, we'd appreciate a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And thanks a lot for watching.